Will Byers is one of the main characters in Stranger Things, and Season 5 Volume 1 gives us a great character payoff. He's been one of the key figures in the series from the very beginning, with the entire story starting with his disappearance in Season 1. Season 5 Volume 1 especially highlights Will's growth as a character, and in my opinion is one of the best character development moments in Stranger Things. In this video I'm going to break down Will's character and how he's evolved from being a victim in Season 1 and earlier seasons, to ultimately the one who saves everyone in Season 5 when he gains his powers. In Season 1, Will was the centre of the plot, after being kidnapped by the Demogorgon and taken into the Upside Down. Although we don't learn until Season 5 that Vecna was involved, the entire first season focuses on Will's friends and family rescuing him from the Upside Down. Because of this, Will has very little screen time in Season 1, but despite his absence, we still learn a lot about him through his friends and family. The season clearly shows how deep Will is loved by his mother, his brother and his friends. In the few scenes we do see of Will, he does display moments of bravery and empathy. He hates seeing his friends fight, he risks his life to warn his mother about the Demogorgon, and he shows concern for Jonathan's injured hand, even after waking up in the hospital himself. These few small moments and just Will's demeanour himself showcase him to be a very quiet but still caring character. They show how much Will deeply values the people around him, despite being so young. In Season 1 onward, Will is unfortunately a victim of Vecna's plan, a pattern that continues throughout later seasons. Being trapped in the Upside Down would be extremely traumatic, especially as he's just a child. Most adults wouldn't survive the Upside Down, making Will's survival almost impossible. We know now that the Demogorgon could have killed Will at any time, but he was kept alive because he was part of a larger plan. However, this kind of experience of a kid of that age would have literally scared them for life and caused them serious PTSD. I think it's important to note that at the end of Season 1, once Will's rescued and all seems well with everyone, it's ultimately Will who has to get over what has happened, and he will be the most traumatized to the events that just took place. In Season 2, Will returns and essentially is just trying to get on with life as a normal kid now. While we don't know everything that happened to him while he was upside down, we learn that part of the mind flare is still connected to him, making it difficult for him to move on with normal life. We know he's connected to the Hive, the Upside Down and Vecna, and throughout the season Will gets more and more possessed to the point where he's no longer himself. Once again in Season 2, he's saved by his friends and family and disconnected from the mind flare, but ultimately these first 1 and 2 seasons of Stranger Things have definitely painted Will as the victim and the person that needs help from other people. After Seasons 1 and 2, Will plays a less pivotal role in the storyline. Despite this though, he is still connected to the Hive and the mind flare, although it isn't really mentioned too much. He can still feel the mind flare, similar to how maybe Harry Potter can still feel Voldemort. In Season 3, Mike and Eleven begin dating, which causes a lot of tension for Will. Will feels left out that Mike starts spending more time with Eleven, and this triggers Will's codependent tendencies. He fears that Mike's priorities are shifting and that they may lose their friendship. After Mike and Elle break up, he pushes Mike and Lucas to play Dungeons and Dragons, clinging on to their childhood routines. He openly expresses his frustration to Mike, and he accuses Mike of ruining the party and choosing Eleven over their friendship. This confrontational behaviour is a major change for Will. He no longer avoids conflict, and it's very clear to see that he values his friendships a lot, to the point where if he feels like his friends are drifting, he almost lashes out at them. Will's and Mike's relationship gets even more complex in Season 4, where it becomes increasingly clear that Will's confused about his sexuality and he has feelings for Mike. Now we don't actually hear him say this out loud, but the show makes it pretty obvious. And this is really hard for Will to digest, as Mike's always been his friend and ultimately Mike's main focus is Eleven at this point. Will's constantly in fear of losing people around him, and this could stem from his relationship with his dad, where his dad obviously isn't around and his mom was the only single parent in the house. Now throughout these first 4 seasons of Stranger Things, Will definitely had it the worst out of the 4 kids. He was kidnapped, possessed and went through a ton of traumatic stress. Not only that, but the way the character was positioned as the shy, quiet one definitely played into him being more of a victim. Season 5 Volume 1 is where it all changes though. We see in the start of the season that he's still connected to the mind flare, and even when the Demogorgon's being hurt, so is Will. The thing that served as the major turning point for Will though is his relationship with Robin and Robin's speech to him. Will sees Robbie being in a relationship with Vicky early in the season, and throughout episodes 1 to 4 of Season 5, Will and Robin develop a very unique relationship. Robin and Will have a mutual understanding where Will knows about Robin's secret relationship, and Robin begins to notice that Will may have feelings for Mike, although this is never confirmed. This understanding leads to Robin speaking to Will in the tunnel. Robin tries to help Will by sharing her own experiences. She treats him like a younger brother brother, offering support like an older sister would. This becomes one of the most unexpected full meaning relationships in the season that I don't think a lot of people saw coming. Robin encourages Will to be himself and to stop hiding who he is. She explained once how she wanted a girl named Tammy to fall in love with her, but then she explained how all she needed to do was to stop being scared and embrace who she truly was without seeking other people's approvals. The speech ends with Robin saying, "I was looking for answers in somebody else, but I had all the answers. I just needed to stop being so damn scared of who I really was. Once I did that, I felt so free, like I could fly." On the surface, this speech feels light-hearted at the start, as if Robbie was simply sharing a memory with a friend, but beneath that this was a very powerful message, encouraging Will to finally accept who he was, and to essentially confront all his fears and trauma. And in the end, this speech actually makes Will emotional. The conversation resonates not only with Will's uncertainty about his sexuality and feelings towards Mike, but also the trauma he's endured, whether that be through the stuff that happened to him in season 1 and 2, or even things steering back to his childhood and things to do with his father. Out of all the kids, Will's experienced some of the deepest trauma and he's consistently the show's victim, but Robin validates Will's struggles without forcing him to open up. By sharing her own story, she allows Will to find meaning in it on his own. Robin's message about letting go helps Will transform his sensitivity and trauma into strength, eventually leading to him gaining his powers. In the final scene of Season 5, Episode 4, Will, Mike and the others are inside a military base when they are suddenly attacked by Demogorgons and Vecna. This is a big moment because it's the first time we've seen Vecna in Season 5. The Demogorgons and Vecna are quickly overpowered by soldiers, showing just how outmatched the humans truly are. While the Demogorgons are being attacked and burnt with flamethrowers, Will is also feeling the same kind of pain the Demogorgons are, and you can see him on the floor being tortured. After achieving his goal of kidnapping the children, Vecna leaves, but not before almost taunting Will. He uses his powers to paralyze Will and bring him closer to him, and then he essentially reveals his plan to Will and belittles him and ultimately intimidates him. He then lets Will go without even killing him, showing that Vecna's not scared of Will at all and literally sees him as harmless. After this, the Demogorgons return and they prepare to attack Mike, Lucas and Robin, all in 3 different locations. But just before they strike, the scene cuts back to Will and we see flashbacks from Will's memories. These are moments of Will and Mike as kids, and moments with his brother Jonathan. Obviously these are deep, emotional highlights for Will and are big memories in Will's life. These moments play out while Robin's speech can be heard in the background, and Will gets up and takes control of the Demogorgons and basically saves his 3 friends by killing the Demogorgons in the same manner that Vecna killed his victims in Season 4. Finally giving Will his full payoff where, instead of always being the victim and always been downtrodden, he's almost embraced all his trauma and everything that's gone on in his life and used his connection with the Mind Flare to control the Demogorgons and kill them. It's a huge turning point for his character, and it shows that Will's come full circle to fully accept who he is and to not be scared anymore. Instead of being a victim of the connection to Vecna and the Mind Flare, he stops being afraid and uses that connection to his advantage. Will saves Lucas, Mike and Robin from basically death, and he single-handedly killed 3 Demogorgons simultaneously, where dozens of soldiers just failed. The moment carries significant weight, especially since Will's powers are not like Eleven's. His strength comes from the unique ability to connect and to control the hive mind, and his powers give him a distinct and original edge. He saved his friends who managed to save him in Season 1 and 2, and he accomplished what none of the other characters were able to do. This wasn't just an important moment for Will, but it completely shifts the balance of the fight. While Eleven has powers, she's often pushed to her limits, and Vecna would definitely beat Eleven in a one-on-one fight, but with Will gaining his powers, it shifts the balance of the fight against Vecna. I'm making this video before Volume 2 and Volume 3 of Season 5 have come out, so I'm very interested to see what this character could do. But for me, this was a great pair for the character, and I wasn't a huge fan of the character in Season 3 and 4, but I'm really glad they've taken this turn to make Will one of the more powerful ones and essentially be able to stick up for himself and protect the ones he loves and repay the favour. Thanks for watching the video and make sure to subscribe.